What does it mean to be a son or daughter of God? And what does that require of you when interfacing with the world? How you deal with people, how you deal with situations, how you deal with life itself. This is what I want to talk about, something I've pondered about myself and deal with regularly. Dealt with recently, just very recently. We are supposed to be representatives of God Almighty on earth, Jesus as our example. We do not stoop. We do not imbibe the tactics of the world. We do not mimic the way people treat us. We treat others the way that we want to be treated, not how they treat us. We do better. How can I get this across to you? It's not acceptable, folks. Why is this doing that? Sorry, I don't know what's going on with this. Of course, because that's how it works. All shit wants to hit the fan, huh? All at the same time. Chaos wants to erupt, and it is... It's right before Sabbath day. Of course it would. I've got animals acting stupid, people acting stupid, people I know acting stupid. And you've got to ask yourself, what drives you to do anything? Are you in control of the driving forces behind you? Or are you just some sort of flotsam on the tide? Are you being pushed and pulled by forces you can't see? Are you in control? Whom do you serve? This is what I want to ask, and I want you to ask yourselves this. Because everybody else out there has no idea why they're doing what they're doing when they're doing. But if you just shut up for a second and listen, and view and watch, why are these things happening all at the same time? And then you start seeing patterns, and you're like, that's a little queer, isn't it? That's a little weird. There's no damn way this could be a coincidence. And then it happens again. And then you notice it's full moons. Then you notice it's occult holidays. Then you notice every time the Sabbath comes around, everybody, including animals, and the whole dang thing, the whole creation starts to act a fool. And it's all toward a point. And here's what I'm trying to get across here. It's all toward a point to affect you. You, the believer. You who believe in God are actually trying to follow Christ. It's to tempt you. I know damn well what temptation is, and you're supposed to flee from it. But if you flee from all of it, like I have, whatever you have in your life, they use as little strings that they can pull. This is how they'll use people in your life. Animals even. I mean, Christ. If you've heard my rants about my animals being used. I got a bull calf. That's a pain in the butt. Ask yourself, what drives you? Why are you thinking this now? Why do you have the inclination or the urge to go do this now? Why not then? Why not 5 minutes from now? Why now? What is going on? What is forcing you? What is driving you? Does that make sense? Because if you're not thinking of things, then you really do not understand the implications of take captive every thought. Take hold of every thought. Take captive every thought and what that means. And the actual implications and the reason for it. People that don't, they're flotsam on the tide. They are, I don't know, what's the proper word? Pawns in the game that are always used against God's apple of his eye, which is those who love him, by the way. Be wise, fellows and ladies, brothers and sisters. Be wise. And no, there's nowhere in the earth that you can go to escape these things. There isn't. But you need to understand, and here's the thing, because the whole point I've learned is to provoke you, to coerce you, to tempt you into an action, to lure you like the fowler's snare, which is like a hook in the ear. Right? A thing on the foot of a pigeon. Don't be unaware of it, folks. We're called to walk with dignity. We're supposed to be representatives, representations, images and likenesses of the Almighty. And once you understand how he is, his ways, which are outlined in his law, his instructions, everything he commands us, he himself is that way. That is what we are supposed to be, and we are supposed to embody, to ingrain within us, to assimilate within our walk and our lifestyle, our mindset, our way of being. And we're supposed to be the royal sons and daughters walking around here. Never ends. And when others treat you unfairly, understand that you're called to take a few punches. And understand that they might not understand why they are doing what they're doing. They don't know, like they're like thinking like, actually, why the hell was I even coming out here? But they come out here and they do some stupid shit. Well, that's because they are not walking around with the full armor of God. That is what protects you from these things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the full armor of God is full obedience, true surrender, not just surrender like it's like just lay down and, limp noodle. That's not what I'm saying. Surrender means realizing he is the authority and doing what he says. Getting on track with his program, doing what he's told you to do, and then being transformed by it. Walking around with true obedience, true repentant heart, a hard exterior to be able to deal with the crazy bull crap of this world, but also be able to be tender enough to care for an injured bird or something like that. But also wise enough and experienced enough to know that people that come and spit on you or do some crazy crap against you, try to destroy you, you know that they're deceived, so you do not act harshly in response. But you can weather the storm. Your foundation's solid. It just kind of batters across it like a seawall. Then you can actually be of service to God. He needs stalwart in the truth. He needs stalwart sons and daughters, true like pillars in his house. Royal representatives on earth, and we're called to a higher calling. It doesn't look glorious to the world, but when the world comes with their pettiness, their whole goal is to drag you down. That is the way the devil works. And what you need to say is, nope. I know what's required of me. I know where I stand. I know whom I serve. Get behind me, Satan. And start seeing, using those eyes, looking around and seeing there's patterns here. Nobody else is seeing it, and people don't know why they're doing what they're doing, but they're doing it. There's some sort of spiritual tide at work here. And just realize that you can reach people, if you can see, you can reach people where you never thought possible. And the people that you thought were gone, you'll be able to understand their plight and be able to better facilitate help for them. But the reality is, if you get what I'm saying, I love you, brother or sister. And I'm with you, you ain't alone. But this is a veteran walk. And this is where you eventually get to. And know the temptations don't stop. They don't stop, but you get better at dealing with it. But we've got to be the representatives of God, and we need to be adequate. Because this is why I rail against Christianity. You know, just normal people pretending to represent God, but they just fall short. And this is what the world sees when they think of God. They think of a Christian. And Christians as a whole, not necessarily you. You're leading people away from God, folks. So when the time comes, start thinking in terms with spiritual eyes, with wisdom from on high. And understand that things that happen in our real world have spiritual forces behind them. And you need to know who drives you and who drives everything else going on, so that you know who it comes from. Because if you're going to help or be useful, you need to stay your course and not be flotsam on the tide. I hope this makes sense. I'm not really speaking too plainly, but I'm speaking plainly enough where any believer that's believed in God long enough should understand what I mean. Anywho, if you know, you know. And if you don't, I pray that you'd find out soon. All right? We'll see you. Take care.